Oh my God, we see the comments. Hey guys, I'm Joanna JoJo Levesque, and this is my editor, Carrie Napolitano. I could not have done this thing right here without her. So I am so excited. I cannot wait to answer questions, to sign some books live, and this is dope. I can see your comments right now. Oh, Ray says they're almost done with the book. Yes, JoJo. Okay, cool. Keep the comments coming. This is
This
so
is so good.
cool.
You guys, I will say I have read this book many times at this point, and it is so good. It is so raw and beautiful, and I'm so excited for you guys to read it.
Well, Carrie read the rawest versions, obviously, because
Yeah.
since I'm a first-time author, she got the scarier versions of this, I think, and then showed me how to, you know, structure it and take my, raw, some word vomit and turn it into something that is more digestible. So yeah, I mean, how many versions did we have?
There were a few.
Yeah, there were more
There
than
were
five.
a lot of there were a lot of there were a lot of versions.
A lot of versions, yeah, and back and forth, and it's been so cool. I can't believe it's only been out for one day, because people are already
Yeah.
telling me that they've been listening to the audiobook, and some people are listening on 1.5 speed, so they finished it already, and I just can't wait to hear your guys' thoughts about it, and if it brought up more questions for you, if it made you think about some things about your own life, about the way you remember things, even from childhood. I'm so curious to know like what it brings up in you. So um, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna sign a book.
Yes.
And then
We have a bunch of fan questions that you guys sent in advance, so I'm going to read some of those, and we will have Joe answer them. So let's see. Brittany from Georgia asks, "Who are your biggest musical influences?"
the biggest musical influences are probably Aretha Franklin, Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, Ella Fitzgerald.
Classics.
Yeah, like definitely those incredible singers really shaped me back in the day. And then as I'm obsessed. I become obsessed with things. So right now I'm like studying a lot of Frank Sinatra. I'm like listening to a lot of Frank, a lot of crooning, a lot of crooners. But I'm also going back to D'Angelo, and I'm just like constantly obsessing over something.
Yeah.
And that brings me joy.
One of the things that I loved when we were working on this book is that every time you were listening to something different, and you would always tell me about a different genre of music or like a different app that you had that like showed you different kinds of music.
Oh, like radio?
Yeah, you were so musically omnivorous, and just it was
an author as well.
you listen to so many different kinds of things, and I think you can really hear that in your music. You can hear this like diverse influence and learning from different people and different kinds of voices. And yeah, I learned a lot about music from you.
Oh,
even just working on this, which is
that's
really
dope.
cool.
That means I love to hear that. I'm nothing if not random and all over the place. So, musically as well.
Okay, let me look at another one. Okay, Ciara, I hope that's how you say it, from Michigan asks, what are the hardest lessons that the industry taught you, both when you were 13 and then that you're still learning today?
I think I learned from a young age that people are going to do whatever is best for them. So don't take it personally. But I think that I applied that across the board, and I didn't learn how to like distinguish that. I like took that as gospel.
Yeah.
And then I think I applied it to like, oh, if everybody's just going to do what's best for them, then that it also applies to like personal relationships and romantic and family and all that stuff, because the industry definitely taught me that. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh, if an executive is like playing musical chairs and he gets an opportunity that's better, he's going to leave me. That's just how it goes. So I started looking out for myself in that same way, I think, across the board. And so that's like, a double-edged sword of a lesson, but then you have this fallout from it, I guess. And what was the second part of it?
What are you learning today?
What am I about the industry?
Yeah.
What I'm learning today, and what I've been learning, is that you cannot hand over your vision to anyone else. You cannot entrust anybody else to care or work harder than you. And you need to be the fire that lights your team on fire as well.
Yeah.
Like you have to be a self starter and things like that. Like, and that energy is infectious. And
Oh, for
you just,
sure.
basically that you are responsible for your energy.
Yeah, I think that that's a really good point. It's something that I always tell authors is like, I am going to love your book and I'm going to be in it like my whole heart, my whole everything. I can't be in it more than you. Like we both have to be in it. And I felt like working on this book, you were so every minute, like you did the work. You did the work, you put it in, and like you didn't phone in anything. You never made excuses. Like you had so many other things going on. You were headlining a Broadway play. You had a whole bunch of house shit go down. Like
Oh yeah.
you, when a lot of stuff was due, and you still just like you put in the work and you got it done. And I found that really, humbling. Like I was really inspired by that and really impressed.
Thanks, Carrie.
You're welcome.
Yeah, excuses don't. I don't know. They just don't feel good. Like
They don't get it done.
they don't get it done.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Excuses don't get it done.
Yeah.
Another great question on here, and it's actually Brianna from New York. You were going to love this because this is actually in the book. Looking back at your early albums, how do you feel about themes of love and romance that you were singing about at such a young age?
Yeah, I definitely do talk about this in the book.
Mhm.
I mean, I think it's like funny. I think it's weird and
Yeah.
funny, kind of. I don't, because I definitely had never been in a relationship before. When I recorded my first album, I hadn't had my period, I hadn't kissed a boy, anything like that. So it's super weird.
Yeah.
But I grew up singing soul songs and talking about like, I'm thinking of like Etta James' version of Shaky Ground when she's like, my car got repossessed this morning. Hard times I haven't seen in years. Boy, you better throw me a life preserver, because I'm about to drown in my own tears. Hey, yeah, standing on a shaky ground. So I grew up singing like grown-ass lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
So it just felt like kind of par for the course, I guess. But now when I'm singing like Leave, Get Out, or even Weak or something like that, I'm, grown and romantical and seasoned, and so I bring a different. It brings a different seasoning to singing those songs.
You've like grown into them almost.
I've grown into them, and that took time. Yeah.
It's funny too, I think, because even listening to videos of you singing from a young age, your voice is so grown, even when you're so tiny and cute, but your voice is so mature even from a young age, that it's like I really believe that 6-year-old knows exactly what she's talking about.
I think I was a good impersonator, particularly back then. I was trying to sound like, if you see this Rosie O'Donnell episode, I sound, you know what I'm talking about, where I sound in the same one phrase. I'm trying to sound like Christina Aguilera, Mariah Carey, and Aretha Franklin, like all in one. And I fail at all of them, but I try, because that's all. It was all coming in, and it was just like, and then eventually, by the time I made my first album, I think I kind of sounded like myself a little bit.
You
more.
learned how to find your own voice.
Yeah.
And you did that with writing this too. Like even early drafts, like you could see you
experimenting with other people's voices,
experimenting with different styles,
yeah.
and learning how to find your own. And then when you found your own, there's one line in particular in this book that is my favorite line. I was telling Katie about this yesterday. This is my favorite line in the book. It stayed through multiple drafts. The second you wrote it, I was like, this is amazing. You guys are going to buy the book, so you will get to see this line in real life. But it's when you are achieving some success and you're thinking about all the kids back at home that doubted you. And you're saying, I hope everyone back home sees this and poops their pants.
Period.
And it's my favorite.
Fuck them kids.
It's my favorite because it's so like, we have not all had the experiences that you've had, like by a long shot, but we've all had those moments where you're like, I want my ex to see how good I look in this dress.
No, there's a lot of relatable, like we all went through that same, we all got a little petty in us, right?
Oh, hell yeah. So. I'm not beyond that.
No, I'm still not.
I am not beyond that.
Ray said, I ate that line up. Come on.
It's so good. It made me laugh so hard. I think my comment on it was, yes, more like this, please.
Yeah. I remember that.
It's so good.
I want to take a look at the comments here too, if I can. Are you? Yes, I am reading the comments. Christopher, here we are. Blah, blah, blah. Were there times where you thought you were oversharing in the book? Yeah. I question if I overshared, but you know what? I am who I am. There's a line in Moulin Rouge too where she goes, sorry, this just reminded me of it, where she's like, and I wish I could sing them with you, but I am who I am. Please leave. And you know, that is what it is. I just am kind of, when I'm excited, I'm so excited. When I'm, you know, not into something, I'm just kind of, so I feel more comfortable being vulnerable than I feel comfortable trying to pretend. And it also makes me feel empowered to share some things in here. And my only concern about sharing was like when other people are involved, and because my story, you know, we don't exist in a vacuum. So I just wanted to be sensitive to other people's stories and things like that. Yeah.
There's a theme throughout this that I love that we talked about a lot, which is in this story, there are no villains and there are no victims, and everybody is just doing the best they can. And really having a lot of compassion for yourself at a younger age, but also other people around you who are just doing the best that they can at the time. That's something I really love about this book too. I was also just thinking, especially when you were singing, that parts of this book were actually written in this room that we're in right now. We would sit in this room over the summer and you would be sitting here writing, and when you were singing it reminded me of it, because sometimes a song would come to you and you would sing it like very softly to yourself, and I was just thinking people would die to sit where I am right now. Like JoJo's just in here like singing off a ditty like just off the top of her head, like this is everybody's dream.
I asked for if she wouldn't mind being my accountability partner, because I was like, I'm experiencing a lot of resistance. Like, I know that
it's hard.
It's strange. And I definitely, you know, was like coming up, I can busy myself till the cows come home. I can like make it so I have not a moment in the day. So I was like, I need to carve out hours of time to do this. And it was really great to be able to do it with Carrie.
I got so many emails done. I yelled at so many people over email. But yeah, it was fun. And again, it goes with this same idea of like putting in the work. Like sometimes you just show up to the computer and you just write what you can. And it doesn't have to be the best. It's something I always told you that I tell everybody is it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be on the page.
That was some of the best advice she gave me.
We can work with anything as long as you have something to work with. And I think you made some really beautiful lines that way just by giving yourself the freedom to just let it out, which I thought was really special.
I love you, Joby. Hi, Samantha. Thank you. Samantha asked, looking at a throwback, what are your thoughts on your MTV Cribs episode? How embarrassing. But also, I'm really not embarrassed about much. So it's just a part of my story, and it's so funny. And my Uncle Scott actually... who's like the person who probably has the most money in my family. I mean, certainly at that time. And he's a published author, and he gave me, I would say you and my Uncle Scott gave me the best advice as it pertains to writing this book. That was his house, because he was the only person that like had like a house that I was like, yeah, we could do this for Cribs. So my mom and I, you know, just lived in an apartment at that time, but whatever. It's funny. It goes down in infamy. It's iconic, whatever.
Yeah. Another one that I really love in here, Crystal from Canada asks, what would you say to someone who wants to break into the music industry but doesn't know where to start, and is really scared that no one will accept her for how she looks and sounds?
Oh, today, I mean, it's so, I think being an artist in 2024, there are no rules.
Yeah.
And I think that people just want to connect with something that is authentic more than ever. And if you stand out, that's actually really great. If you feel like you look different, awesome. Embrace those things that make you different. I think that it's the perfect time for us all to lean into, you know, exactly who we are. But I'll be totally honest with you. I have no idea how somebody would make a huge splash in music today. I think that must be so hard. You know what I mean? My advice when people ask me always is to get over your fear of, try to get over by practicing putting yourself out there. Get over your fear of rejection, of being, you know, I always ask if people come, you know, see me on the street or a meet and greet or something, and I'm like, well, do you have a TikTok? Do you have an Instagram? And if the answer is no, I'm like, you're playing games. Just go ahead and do it.
Yeah. And
just start putting things out. And I believe in that build it and they will come type thing.
Yeah.
So just, you know, also create a community of people who, even if you have one person who believes in you, you can multiply that.
Yeah.
You know, you can build from there. So I would say start with what you got.
And like you'll learn as you go.
Yes.
Like nobody starts out perfect. I think something that is really funny to me, but I guess I thought this before I worked in books, is that everybody looks at the finished copy of a book thinking like, oh, I could never write something like that.
Right.
Everybody has a first draft. Like
That is
y'all don't
tea.
see the
That is
first
tea.
drafts. I see the first drafts, and sometimes I'm like,
And she's shocked.
sometimes I'm more shocked than others. Sometimes, but it does make the really good ones stand out, and it does. You know, everybody has to learn how to write their own book, just the same as everybody has to learn how to find their own voice. And I think, you know, just because you're seeing like a polished, perfect social media or a polished, perfect book, it doesn't mean that it was always that way. You have to start somewhere, and you can't get anywhere if you don't start.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Brenda. Thank you. You see, finished reading the book already and loved it. Thank you for sharing your story with us. Thank you for reading it. You are a fast reader. It takes me a very long time, so I'm impressed.
I would have finished this overnight.
Well, you're a fast reader.
It's true, but it is a page turner. Like there's no filler. Ooh, there's no filler. It's really
Get your
good.
copy.
Actually, this is a great time to remind you to go to jojosignbook.com. If you haven't already ordered your copy, you should definitely order your copy, and you'll get a beautiful signed book. And you'll get 15% off autographed editions with the code JoJo15. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, now we have some rapid fire questions, 22 questions in 2 minutes.
Oh my God.
We're both verbose.
Yeah, I know. I need to chill out.
Okay, we're both verbose, so like, get her done.
All
okay. Where were you born?
Brattleboro, Vermont.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Who would you want to play you in a movie?
Me.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I don't know.
No, I think you'd be the best to play you.
Thanks.
What was your first job?
This. Whatever this is. You know, singer. Street performer.
Well, I would think
Tommy, musical theater performer.
Yeah, I'm also thinking about when you were singing in the salons as a kid and stuff too.
Yeah,
or
that
with
was
Big Daddies.
Yeah, I mean, singer has always been
Singer.
my occupation. Yeah.
What chore do you hate doing?
I really don't like mopping the floors, so I don't do it.
Fair.
So I'm just gross.
You have a dog too, and I feel like that brings in extra stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's mopping a floor, and then there's mopping a floor.
I don't mind vacuuming. I don't
Oh.
mind doing anything else, but you're not going to see me with a bucket and a mop.
It's messy.
Wow.
What is your biggest fear? What is your biggest fear?
My biggest fear? My biggest fear is fucking getting eaten by a shark. Sorry, this is 2 minutes, right? Getting eaten by a shark.
Listen, we're doing the best we can here.
Okay.
We're gonna give ourselves some grace. Who makes you laugh the most?
My manager Katie makes me laugh a lot.
Katie's funny.
Yeah, Katie's funny.
What is the one thing that you need to have in your fridge at all times? Don't say water.
Okay. The one thing I actually keep this. I've been doing this. What the fuck? Probiotics. How about that? Probiotics.
That's very healthy. Your gut bacteria thanks you. What was your favorite subject in school?
ELA, English Language Arts.
Oh, fun. I can definitely see that. Actually, you know what was so cool was your teacher came to the signing last night.
My first grade teacher came to the signing in Boston, and my sixth grade teacher, when I lived in Edgewater, New Jersey, came to the one in Northvale, New Jersey, and that was so special to see them. And actually, it was ELA and also history. I love history so much.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Who's the most interesting person you met recently?
Most interesting person I met recently. You know, I've met a lot of wonderful people lately, and
that's very diplomatic.
Yeah, I don't know.
What is your middle name?
Noelle.
Correct. What is your biggest pet peeve?
My biggest pet peeve is, oh my God, I have so many. Okay, this I hate. When someone like, I'm in Moulin Rouge. Can I speak? I can't speak. Moulin Rouge on Broadway, and lay in my dressing room. People will knock on my door, and it's a very heavy door, and I'll say, "Come in," and they won't come in. They can't hear me. I don't want to say it again. That's it.
You should have is there a way to like get something on your door that says just, I guess you don't
No,
want
I
them
don't
to
want
open
them
it.
to just open it.
I don't.
It's tough.
I don't know how to solve this problem, but I'm going to figure it out.
I just like to be peeved about it and passive aggressive, so it's great.
It's fair. What is your favorite hobby?
My favorite hobby, well, I was taking tennis lessons for a while after I saw Zendaya in Challengers, and it was very sexy, and I'm like, I want a tennis boyfriend, so let me go
Play tennis.
play tennis.
Yeah.
And so, but I haven't done that since I moved to New York. I love going to listen to music. I'm so inspired by going to hear live music.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hobby of mine. Yoga. And yeah.
What is your guilty pleasure?
My guilty pleasure is Love Island. I was like, is it called Love is Blind or Love Island? I've watched
both. All.
Yeah, I like those.
Yeah.
I never thought I would. And also, I can watch the Sex and the City episodes in ad nauseum. They won't get old for me. So
The limit does not exist.
the limit does not exist yet.
Do you have any hidden talents?
I don't know if they're hidden. I think I try to show my talents. I don't know. Whatever I got, I try to put it out there.
Yes.
I don't know if they're hidden at this point. I don't know.
What color is your toothbrush?
My toothbrush is white.
What is your pet's name?
Agape.
She's perfect. What is your favorite word?
Fuck. Fucking shit.
Honestly, it's a multi-purpose word. I approve as the editor. What's the last album that you bought or streamed?
I was just listening to this Don Blackman album. It's like a funk jazz record, and it's and I don't know what the name of the album is, but he looks so cool on the cover. He has like braids and beads, and it's kind of Rick James-esque.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's a really fire album, so I'm listening to that.
I was listening to Bad Mama Jamma earlier.
Hey.
Same ways. What is the last gift you gave?
Some sea moss. A jar of sea moss.
Girl, why?
Because I'm healthy and I care about people's health.
What is the sea moss gonna
It's
do?
gonna make you live forever and feel good, and
Is it's like a health thing?
yeah, it's a health thing.
And it works?
Yeah, I take it every day.
It's like a pill?
No, it's like a jelly. I take a
Jelly.
teaspoon of this ginger turmeric sea moss every day, and
I'm imagining a gummy bear. I feel like it's not a gummy bear.
no, it's just straight from the source, kind of. I'll get you some sea moss.
I'm curious now. I'm gonna be mossed up.
Mossed up.
What causes dear to your heart?
What causes dear to my heart? Education, and particularly music and the arts in schools and public schools. I feel like, and I feel like the private school kids will be fine, but kids, who come from a background like mine, I really feel like, having the arts in my school absolutely changed my life. I think of my teacher, Mrs. Horton, who I still have a relationship with now. She was my art teacher, and her support and the things that she would give us to do and stuff. Like, if they take that away, the fact that that's the first thing to lose funding is really upsetting and a big problem, because if kids don't have exposure to different outlets, then it's gonna, they won't be able to channel their feelings or their concerns or whatever constructively. And yes, we need kids to learn STEM and all these other things, but like, we need the arts to stay alive. So
I think you really need to learn what's going to light your own fire. And a lot of the time it's the arts. And if we take that away, like, we're taking away this valuable resource for them, understanding who they are, understanding how they can connect with other people. Like,
it's really, really important. And it's not just like an elective or something.
It's not optional.
It's not optional.
What is your greatest achievement?
My greatest achievement is longevity and long relationships and the evolution of them, like with my manager Katie and with Ronaldo, who does creative content for me and stuff. Like, I think being able to learn and grow and build something together something that I'm proud of. And just still, this honestly is actually one of the things I'm most proud of doing. And because it scared me, and I'm just, over um, counting myself out, or thinking that, my story isn't worth telling, or it's not ready, or whatever. Like, that's not the season that we're in. Hi, Christopher. Hi, Tiffany, Heather, Selena. I love that name. Sadie.
It's so
Darcy.
cool seeing everybody.
This is cool. Oh, I love the details of the outfits you and Mama put together in your book. How fun. Yeah, my mom has a really cool sense of style, and like she just really marches to the beat of her own drum, and I just love that. Please do a shout out to Ashley Thomas in Newport, Tennessee. She designed your Team JoJo shirts. Oh, thank you, Ashley.
That.
Oh my God. I tend to get sleepy when I read, but I ordered the book anyway. Will you be releasing an audio version of your book? Yes, it's out. It dropped the same time as the book, so you can check that out.
They go well together.
Yeah, they do pair well.
They go well together. I would also say that your greatest achievement, something that you told me last summer, we were walking to the New York Public Library. You really wanted to write a chapter in the public library. It was fucking cool. But on the walk there, we were talking about your achievements, and you said, I think the thing I'm most proud of is that I can honestly say I'm a good person, and that I'm good to people. And as long as I can say that, no matter what else happens, like I can live with that.
Yeah, that's
and cool. I think, especially like with how many things you've achieved, the fact that being good to people and being kind and compassionate is still the most important thing to you, even amidst everything else, is really special. I think it's really special.
Thanks for framing it that way for me. I appreciate that.
I would say that that's an achievement.
Thanks.
Because there's tons of people that suck.
And we hate them.
And we hate them with love. We hate them. But yeah, you are just as wonderful as everybody on this call thinks you are. And I think I can say that and be honest about it, which is cool. Last question in this, definitely not 2 minutes. Where do you want to go that you've never been?
I've never been to Africa, and I think that's wild. So it's a whole continent. There's many, many different countries to explore there, but I am dying to explore the continent. I don't know where to start, West Africa, North Africa, East Africa, South Africa, all the orientations of the continent. But yeah. And there's just a whole big world out there that I really appreciate. I think that, since I got to travel from a young age, it really shaped my worldview. Yeah. And to know that there's so much more than just what we understand or the way that we see things based on our experiences. And that really shaped me.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in the book too, of you learning your history lessons while you're actually out on the road and in some of these countries experiencing them. And it's so funny because I'm imagining myself in high school, and we're like 3 weeks apart, I think, in age. And in high school, I definitely was not like in London learning about the Tower of London. You know what I mean? Like, it's
so cool.
But the way that you let us experience it with you, and so much of your journey in here, I think it made something super unrelatable incredibly relatable somehow. And really made me want to go on tour.
Hey, taking it down the road.
Yeah, and thank you so much, everybody that's on. If you haven't already, you should definitely buy your signed copy. You can go to jojosignbook.com. You can put in the code JoJo15, get 15% off, and have a beautiful signed book.
Yeah. I have a few more to sign. Guys, I'm loving these comments that I'm seeing come in too. Danielle says, thank you so much for being amazing and giving my son Noah so much love at your book signing in Somerville. I loved hearing you say as we walked away, he's so cute to your family on the side. It made my day and the best birthday gift to myself. Aww.
I love the multi-generational groups that come up. The best part is like seeing someone and their mom or someone and their kid, like multiple generations loving you, enjoying your music. Like
that really moves me too.
So special.
And what's also wild is seeing people who are my age who have like a 15-year-old. I'm like, oh my God,
I'm too young.
I'm just a baby. Yeah. But no, I mean, I've been active for a long time. So I'm like, I could really have a grown child damn near. Anyway, That's all in the book.
There's this spoiler alert. There's a great picture in the insert of you and Brittany. And there was a moment last night at the signing in particular when this little girl came up to you and took a picture with you. And I was like, this is the moment. This is the moment where
that too.
It comes full circle.
I was feeling that too. Yeah.
It was so special.
I love that. I love that. Shah says, my 8-year-old daughter, Aria, is your biggest fan. What a beautiful name, Aria. She wants to know if we can get re-release of Jumping Trains or Doorway to My Dreams, Fly Away Soon. Is that her request or yours? How did she know these things?
She knows some deep cuts.
Damn, she knows the deep cuts.
Yeah.
That is probably unlikely just because it would be so expensive and so irritating to try to get, my former label, who's no longer a label, to agree to do things. So no, but I think they're on YouTube. So there's that.
Also, there's new music to come.
There's new music to come. We're just moving forward. Yeah, we're just moving forward. But I love that you guys love them. That was a big part of my life, those songs. And I definitely talk about that stuff in the book because it was a serious pain point that those records weren't available. And it actually still is. I actually might have just completely cut myself off from it because it was such a painful time.
Yeah.
Because you're just writing and recording songs and they're never coming out. No one's telling you why, and it's just, and then things are leaking, and then I felt violated from the leaks. But then I was happy that my fans were hearing things. So then I was just like, let's just drink vodka.
I mean, but I can, I can really empathize with you're working so hard on things over and over and over again, and just no way to share them with anyone. That's got to be really painful as an artist.
It was frustrating. It was frustrating, but these songs live on YouTube. Okay, thank you. We got 5 minutes, y'all.
We've asked for cue cards because we're verbose. So I guess just to wrap this up, and just as a reminder, if you haven't already got your autograph book, go to jojosignbook.com. And then at checkout, put in JoJo15 and you'll get 15% off a beautiful signed book with a really cute signature.
Thanks.
So I guess just to kind of wrap this up, what is something coming out of the experience of writing a book that you weren't expecting going in? After this whole journey, what's something that surprised you the most?
Well, I don't know if it surprised me, but I think something that I took away was how therapeutic it was, because my intention coming into it wasn't to use this as a therapeutic tool. I didn't want to because I've been in therapy for a long time, so I didn't want to have this be too self-indulgent where I'm working it out in real time. I've worked out and I have thoughts about a lot of the things that I've been through, but it actually was very therapeutic for me personally, instead of someone else, to connect the dots of my patterns and reoccurring themes, and to look at my blind spots, and to also, be able to think about my life in just a different way, and be you've just by being here is defying the odds.
Yeah.
And so I would say that, and that you can do hard things. You can do things that scare you. You can do it scared. My best friend Nini we were talking about that yesterday. She sent me a voice note, and she's like, sometimes you just got to do it scared. And I watched you do that for the past, I've seen you do it so many times. And she's like, and I appreciate that about you, that you'll be paralyzed with fear and no one would know it. And so I just, it's a reminder that sometimes things will come up and you'll feel a lot of resistance toward them, but you also feel that you're supposed to do them for some reason. And that was kind of what this experience was.
Yeah. I was looking actually at when you were shopping your book around initially, I was looking at the offer letter that I sent in, and it recalled our first conversation on the phone. And I was asking you why you wanted to write this book now. And you said that you wanted to write this book because shining a light on the darkness acts as a disinfectant, and it gives other people.
I said that.
You said
That's
it.
Good.
You said I quoted you, and you said that exposing things releases you of shame, and it gives other people permission to do the same. And I hope that when people read this book, they have that experience of not only getting to know you better and getting to know your story better, but also feeling if she can do it, I can do it. And if she can find light in this darkness, I can find light in my own darkness.
That could not have crystallized my hope for this book in a better way.
Really want them to
That
come
really
away
is
with
my
it.
desire.
I think
Yeah.
working on it, I definitely came away with that. So I think that is like the prevailing message here. I'm so excited for you guys to read it. It's so good.
Oh. Thank you guys so much for being here and being a part of this. Darcy said, I didn't realize how much I related to you until your book.
Yeah.
So thank you for this. From all the people who never felt like they fit in just because people thought they were odd, weird, love you. Yes. And I think that this book is about like us, I'm hoping that we connect with our little oddball selves a little bit and just embrace the things that even we were made fun of for, or the things that we tried to assimilate, away from or whatever. So
Embrace your weird.
embrace all parts of you. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. I can't wait to hear what you think about the book.
Yes.
If you haven't already, heard me say it before, I'll say it again. Go to jojosignbook.com. You can get your book. You can get 15% off with the code JoJo15, and it's beautiful.
I'm so proud of it. I'm so grateful for you holding my hand through this process.
Yeah.
And this has been so cool to do this with you too. And I just can't wait to hear what you guys think about it, what it brought up for you personally. And please let me know, slide into tag me. I'd like to see you with the book, interacting with it. So yeah.
In the wild.
In the
Tag us out
wild.
in the wild.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much.
It's been real. Love you.